Live from TBS, it's Spear from the Past.
Oh, yeah!
Hey, welcome to another episode of Spear from the Past. It's going to be a fun one today. We're going to be talking about WCW's Clash of the Champions, which technically isn't a pay-per-view. It's basically their version of Saturday Night Live at the time, but I decided to throw them on the wheel because I think they're all episodes on YouTube, so I was like, why not? But I've got Austin here to break it down because it's WCW. I've only got the limited amount of people that I can call.
If he spins WCW, he comes a calling. It's WCW or like 2001 WWE or like late era ECW. He's gonna come calling me. So yeah, no, it's fine. No, I don't mind going back in time watching a little WCW. Although when I looked up what year this was, I went, "Oh no, summer of '95. That was not a good time for WCW. So this might be a weird show." And sure enough, it's a weird show. There's things to talk about on this one.
Yeah, but as I like to start this off, I do this like doing on the stage segment to see what else was happening in the world. And the number one movie worldwide at this time was Waterworld. The number one song was Waterfalls by TLC. And the number one album was Dreaming of You by Selena. And the WWE champion at the time was Shawn Michaels. But yeah, we kicked this off with a tag team match, which was as well as I don't know why Animal wasn't involved in this, but it's like we had Sting and Road Warrior Hawk versus Ming, who is better known as Haku, and Kurosawa. And yeah, look, this match is one of those ones like. I thought it was decent. Like there was some good spots in it, but like it's not really one of those ones that was like that I'd write home about. But it wasn't the worst match on the card either. We'll get to those later on. Piers, what did you think about this match?
Yeah, I was trying to look up why Animal, wasn't here, like why it was just Hawk, and apparently it was some weird like insurance thing. Like he was involved in some like lawsuit with an insurance company or something. And like while he was doing that, he couldn't wrestle. So like he just wasn't there, and he came back in 96. So yeah, it was just a weird thing where like Hawk was still employed though under contract. So yeah, this is weird. And it is a little strange because Hawk, I'm going to talk about this again later in a different tag team match, but there was like good tag teams sometimes where one guy was clearly the better worker than the other guy. And in the case of the Road Warriors, Animal was the better worker than Hawk. Hawk was usually the guy who came in and hit the big power moves and cleaned house, in the tag team matches. Same, we'll talk about Harlem Heat. It's kind of a similar situation with Stevie Ray. But man, like I'm watching this match and like Sting's great. Like Sting's always awesome. Like he knows what he's doing. He's charismatic. Yeah. He's awesome. I love Ming a lot. I'm a big like Ming or Haku fan. Kurosawa, I was like, Akira Kurosawa, the filmmaker? I was like, that's weird. No, I was like, okay. No, it's this dude who was in New Japan for not like, he wasn't like a super famous New Japan guy. And then I was like, Hawk. And then, man, every time Hawk was in there was weird, Malcolm. Like, he was like kind of like uncooperative, like they're clotheslining him and he's just like no selling it and just like turning his head. He's like not taking bumps. And like, I just, it feels like he was being like, strangely stiff and like uncooperative and like uncoordinated in the ring. Like he wasn't gelling with anybody. So like when Hawk was in there, it was kind of bad. And then like Sting would get in there with Ming or the other New Japan dude, and like it would click a little bit, and like it would pick up steam. So like Sting held this match together with glue and made it at least watchable. But like I feel like Hawk like really dragged this down. Had they had anybody else maybe on the roster besides Hawk as like Sting's partner, this actually would have been decent, for what it was. I thought it was fine enough because Sting was involved and he's fun to watch, but like, man, they could have gotten anybody else on that roster, and I think it would have made this match much better.
Well, I mean, there was definitely a segment later on in which like that would have made more sense to have someone else because he was definitely there because he came out and did a segment and which we'll get to it was like Randy Savage was in this arena.
Yeah,
so they could
that's what I'm saying. If
Sting,
Savage was in there with Sting, like that would have been a lot more fun because Savage is great. Like, and give him like 10 minutes, they could have had a really fun little opening match and had Sting and Savage go over. But as we saw, the reason they had Hawk in there is because they did a little goofy angle with like snapping his elbow and stuff, so they could like run with that later.
Yeah, and which goes into the backstage segment in which they confirm that snapped elbow. Which, there's nothing really much there. They're just a bunch of talking and usual gimmicky stuff. The next up, we had DDP defeated Alex White, which I'm going to say might have been the best match on the card, even though
maybe the work rate wise, yes, maybe not my most entertaining one. That might be the main, just because I enjoy all the guys that were in the main, like entertainment wise. But yeah, as far as like an actual work rate on the show, you have DDP, who's like a good solid worker, and he would get better as the time would go. He was in a weird spot here where he wasn't quite like Diamond Dallas Page, like hitting diamond cutters. That would come in like more like 1997 and kind of really kicked off with his feud with Randy Savage. Like, speaking of Randy Savage, when he beat him dressing as La Parka. But and then Alex Wright, this is like a year or two before he starts doing like the dancing gimmick, so he's just Das Wunderkid here, and he's just kind of a cruiserweight sort of mid-card wrestler. But like Alex Wright was always a good wrestler, and DDP like was usually really solid, and like I thought they had a pretty good match. Yeah, Alex was like flying all over the place. He's doing really huge drop kicks everywhere, big cross bodies. He's flying over the top rope, like he's taking big bumps. He's a good seller, and like DDP was weirdly, Malcolm, did you notice he was doing like, I don't remember him doing this. He was doing like the Shawn Spears 10 gimmick. I don't remember this at all. Like he would do a thing and then he'd be like 10, and Kimberly Page has a thing that was holding up 10. I was like, wow, he was doing the Shawn Spears thing from NXT like 20 years before Shawn Spears was. That's weird.
And as well, there's ones like, because as you said, like this was early DDPs, like and this was like one thing I noticed, like the crowd wasn't like as into it as they would be for other DDP matches, but I think that's because of how early on the thing it was for them. And then we get up to an interview with Ric Flair and Arn Anderson, which was just standard Ric Flair and Arn Anderson thing there. And then just like and then one thing I'm surprised that they kept all the advertising is because like Judge Dredd is on all video games.
Oh my god, I wrote that down. I was like, you know what? I didn't mind them keeping the little in between breaks because it was just kind of a fun nostalgia trip. I was like, oh, Judge Dredd was in theaters at this time, the Stallone one, and I can get the action figures from the movie. I was like, all right. I was like, okay, like there were some goofy looking action figures, so characters I forgot were in that movie. But yeah, I didn't mind them keeping the little like related ad breaks. Like it's not like the full commercials, but it's like once they had a tie-in, like a promotional thing or something. And I actually kind of enjoyed that. I thought that was funny.
And that's probably the first time I've ever I've ever straight up seen a Randy Savage Slim Jim commercial before this.
There's a whole bunch. Yeah, I go back and watch these. They're all over the shows. Like around this time, those commercials were huge. They still reference them even when LA Knight does like the current day ones. They still have like on the corner will like flash a TV with like the Randy Savage stuff in the corner.
Oh yeah. No, I mean. That's the only reason I know it was like, I'm pretty sure this was one of the ones that had that one that they did have in the LA Knight ones. But then next up we go into the match, which was the totally not a gimmick infringement of Ultimate Warrior the Renegade, defeating Paul Orndorff, and this match just wasn't good.
It's not good. It's the worst match on the show by far.
I don't really have much more to say about it. It wasn't even long enough to have much to talk about.
But I got more to say about the Renegade than the actual match. But yeah, for anybody who doesn't know, in 1995, this was when Warrior was off. He wasn't in WWE at this time. He came back like a year later in WWE for like a little short run, where he beat Triple H in like 17 seconds and stuff, and a couple of things like that. But at the time when they were about to debut the Renegade, Malcolm, I swear this was true, they had like a silhouette thing that looked like Warrior with like the tassels and the long hair and everything. And they said that like there was going to be this ultimate solution, and they put ultimate in quotes. So people thought it was going to be the Ultimate Warrior. And then they paraded him out there like he was the Ultimate Warrior, even though he obviously wasn't, and he was the Renegade. But it was very similar to when over in WWE they were doing like the fake Diesel and fake Razor gimmicks, around that time. And it was like they were trying to pass him off like it was the Warrior. And Renegade was terrible, dude. Like he was bad, and he hung around for like a little while. I don't know how he had a job for like 3 years. Like it's kind of crazy. Like he hung around and made off and on appearances for a while. This is only title reign, by the way, this TV title reign, thank God. And DDP would pick it up very soon after that, so thank goodness for that. But yeah, this is not good. And Paul Orndorff, man, he was already like kind of past his prime, and then like he hung around for a while too till he hurt his neck like later on. Like it was just not a good match. It was 3 minutes, but just not good.
I can't remember if it was you, but I actually did have. I've actually done the pay-per-view in which it was the Ultimate Surprise when Renegade debuted.
Yeah,
I can't remember if it was with you or if it was sort of Soda. But
I don't think it was with me. I think that was most of it was Soda. But yeah, the Ultimate thing was so stupid because like people tuned in thinking it was going to be like Warrior, and then it was just where it was so dumb. It was really bad.
It was also at this point I didn't realize sort of the placement of this, but this was basically near the start of the whole Monday Night Wars, because like they were all coming out. Nitro's debuting in a few weeks. It's like win a Harley. It's like,
dude, and I'm telling you, man, we're like right on the precipice to like WCW like getting good again. Like we're so close because Nitro debuts like a little under a month, like in the next month in September, and then like soon after this too, Malcolm, we just like missed it by a few months. Like Benoit and Guerrero and Malenko are like back in the company, and like Jericho comes in, and like a few months after that, the cruiserweights start like rolling in. Like we just missed it, Malcolm. Like we just missed like the good workers coming in and like filling out the mid card. We're right behind
them. But the next up we had a Vader promo, which was standard Vader stuff.
Standard Vader. It's just very standard stuff.
And then it leads into this match with a very bizarre finish.
I'll tell you where it went. I'll tell you more about it when we get there.
but basically with this, it was the 5 men and 1 woman match, like which is like Harlem Heat and Sister Sherry, who's Sensational Sherry in WWE, and then defeating Bunkhouse Buck, Dick Slater, and Colonel Robert Parker. This match, it's just it wasn't overly entertaining. Like Sister Sherry and Colonel Parker, like for obvious reasons, because they basically managed anyway. Like they stayed out for the most part of this match. I think Booker T was trying his best to make it look good, but it wasn't working. And I just thought the finish was stupid by having like Sherry get knocked out cold and suddenly want to kiss Robert Park. And I had to laugh at the commentary team. It was a flying lip lock off the ropes. What do you think?
What it was, Malcolm, what this finish was, and it led to a very short kind of angle that only lasted a few weeks. But the idea of the angle, Malcolm, was that she comes off the top with that crossbody and she misses, and supposedly she hits her head. Like she didn't really like hit her head that hard, but the idea was that she hit her head. When she came to, she all of a sudden was in love with Colonel Parker, and then just like jumps on top of him and starts kissing him. Yeah, in the middle of all this, she gets him on the ground, she pins him. But it became a thing where, for real, she became like his stalker and was like in love with him for like a couple of weeks. And it was a really bad storyline that didn't last very long. Again, this is the kind of storylines you're getting in like 1995. WCW of like this and the Renegade, and like, oh my God, we'll get to the Dungeon of Doom nonsense here very shortly, but oh my God, that stuff's even worse. But yeah, this is the kind of stuff. I mean, I think Colonel Parker was like him and Sherry might have been the most like somewhat entertaining part of the match because at least the crowd got up for it and they
Yeah.
like were overselling things and it was at least like kind of entertaining. Like you said, Booker T was trying his best to kind of carry this with his work rate. Bunkhouse Buck and Dick Slater are like okay workers, but they were past their prime at this point. They were like way in their late 40s here, especially Dick Slater. Stevie Ray is a good tag team wrestler, but he's not a good singles wrestler, but he was good when he was with Booker T. So like they did their best, but I mean, this match was more about that angle than the actual match. So it was just kind of
Yeah.
like, you know.
Yeah. And yeah, next up we had as Hulk Hogan promo talking about going to the Dungeon of Doom, which once again standard Hulk Hogan stuff. And then we get this quick segment where it's like Mean Gene talking to this kid in a wheelchair because I think they're doing something to raise money for whatever
muscular dystrophy, I think, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But like the poor kid, he didn't look like he wanted to be there.
No, I mean, he looked like he probably is a wrestling fan, and like he would have been perfectly fine if they just like what they should have done is just cut to him in the front row, have him wave, you know, and be like, "Oh, that's so and so for whatever," you know, round of applause. And like, yeah, Mean Gene's trying to like interview him, poor guy, and like he's probably not only is he probably nervous and like shaking, you know, like can't like I don't think he seems like much of a talker anyways. It seems like he doesn't say much in real life anyways. I mean, it might have been a lot of pain too, but he's probably super nervous. And credit to Mean Gene, Malcolm. He's really good at like carrying the other side of a promo if somebody like either forgets their lines or like if somebody kind of forgets where they're going with the thing. He's really good at kind of leading things. So God bless him. He's trying to be like, are we excited for, you know, like Fall Brawl or whatever? He's like, give me a yeah. And like Randy Savage comes out there and Randy Savage is like, come on, give me like, oh yeah. You know, they're trying to like work with them and he's just like, oh yeah. Like, I mean, so I can't make fun of the kid because the kid, you know, had a like a horrific like condition, but yeah, probably not a good idea to like have him on stage trying to like cut promos. This was not a good idea.
Yeah. But then we get into the Hulk Hogan segment, which is like, I mean, funny enough, like I look at this match, like, oh yeah, 5 matches. It was at this point I checked the time, it's like, shit, we're only like 40 minutes in, like we've had 4 matches already. But then we get the segment in which Hulk Hogan goes into the Dungeon of Doom. And it was like, and this was just a very bad segment. Really it was like everyone's basically just yelling until the eventual beatdown. Like I don't think there was any substance to the yelling. And then you had like the Giant versus Big Show, and then I'm pretty sure I saw Kamala in there as well. I don't know. But I like it was just one of those ones like I don't know much about the Dude like faction at all.
This was like Kevin Sullivan ran this like Dungeon of Doom faction, and their whole like gimmick was to take down Hulkamania essentially for like almost a whole year. I mean, this thing went on forever, and it was like Kamala and the Zodiac and like Ming and the Shark and like all these dudes, like all these like jabronis and like but this is the only thing interesting to come out of the feud was when the Giant debuted as part of the Dungeon of Doom. So the Big Show, you know, like made his debut as part of this. So that was like the one like noteworthy thing. And then he kind of had some matches with Hogan. But yeah, it was like this really long-winded storyline where it was just like they were going to defeat Hulk, you know, Hulkamania, you know, once and for all, blah, blah, blah. They had this like really bad looking set, and Kevin Sullivan looks like a weirdo, like just wearing this like goofy like red robe thing, and like they're cutting the worst like C movie lines at each other of just like I vanquished your people on the way over here, Kevin Sullivan. You'll never defeat me because I'm Hulk Hogan and I am Hulkamania. I'll summon all my Hulkamania powers. And I'm just like, what kind of like bad Hogan movie are we watching right now? Like it seems like one of Hogan's like really bad like, you know, TV shows or movies he did, and it's terrible. And then the whole thing ends with just like, you know, Giant comes out of nowhere and starts like choking him, and then like Vader, who's like in the main event but like is also like I guess with Hogan, like I don't even remember that at all. Like I thought he did his own thing for the most part in WCW, but yeah, he's not like Hogan's not. I don't know. Like it was just this whole. It was hard to keep up with, and he like makes the save, and it was really cringy, like very very terrible.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of these Dungeons Doom people, they look like they were rejects from the Master of the Universe movie. It's
Yeah.
like names like the Shark, which I looked it up. There was Earthquake from WWE's,
Yeah. Oh, this by the way, the Dungeon of Doom thing, an infamous bad bad wrestling moments of all time, sort of garbage moments. It had two other really notoriously terrible things with the Yeti, who was part of the Dungeon of Doom. If anybody remembers the Yeti, coming out and bear hugging Hulk Hogan, and the infamous Giant versus Hogan monster truck match they have on the roof of a building where it was just the monster trucks pushing each other around. Yeah, that was also part of this feud. It was bad. Like I think it won worst feud of the year in like the Observer and some other awards that year. Like really, really terrible stuff.
Yeah, but then after that we go into the main event, which I will say before we get into that, the commenters are sort of putting over Nitro again, and then it's like there's just this moment where it's like I can't remember which commentator it was. It's like, oh, tell me who this special guest like this Emmy Award winning announcer is. Like, it's like John Matt's like, it's like I was looking at it. Like you've probably been told enough. Like you're just doing this for a bit.
I was trying to remember who it was. I needed to look it up, but like I think it was just Mongo. I think.
Yeah.
Like I think it was Steve McMichael. Like I think it was just Mongo who they were talking about. This guy who does who's from like the real world of sports or whatever, and it was just Mongo who at the time he came in doing commentary and then started wrestling like afterwards. If I remember, it just ended up being Mongo, which is like a big like wah wah wah. Like
No, I'm pretty sure it was because I did sort of read up about it. So I read someone's retro review of this thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think they said it ended up being Mongo. But some of the names that were thrown out, like John Madden and all that, it's like,
no,
they're not going to be doing
John Madden. No,
they're not going to be doing a wrestling.
Real quick, just to go back real quick, because I wrote a note down. I forgot when Hogan was talking to Gene, he holds up a pair of one of his like tights, like one of his like Hulk Hogan striped tights, like these bikini bottom tights. And I swear he said the line, Malcolm, where he said, like they were talking about that Harley promo they're running throughout the show too, about you can win a Harley Davidson, like win a motorcycle. And Hulk Hogan says something about he's gonna put those bikini bottoms on and then ride a Harley and go look for a fight. And I was like, what? I was like, Hogan, are you really gonna put those on and then go ride a motorcycle? Like what? It was like typical like nonsense Hogan.
Yeah. But next up we go into the main event, which was Vader defeating Arn Anderson and Ric Flair in a handicap match. I thought while like this match wasn't like the best match I've seen from various people, but I do think it was fun, and I think they all worked really well together. And then sort of then after the match we get like Flair and Arn having a falling out. But Bez, what did you think of this main event?
Yeah, no, I thought that at least the main event was entertaining. Like it wasn't like super long. I think once it gets going after the long Michael Buffer intros, it's like 8 minutes or 9 minutes or something like that. But you at least have like 3 really competent workers in there. So like these guys at least know what they're doing. I think Vader had matches with Anderson. I know Vader had matches with Flair. He had a couple matches with Flair, especially one really good one in '93. I think it's Super Brawl. Like they have a really good match for the title. But so they at least like know each other. They know how to work. Anderson's great. I always like going back and watching Arn. He had an awesome spine buster on Vader. That was impressive. Like he had like a legit spine buster on Vader. That was cool. And yeah, I mean, once Flair gets in there, it's the typical like he's gorilla pressing him, left and right, and he's tossing him off the top rope. He had a top rope splash on Flair though. I was impressed he took that. Like full on like Vader went to the top and just straight jumped off. Vader was not afraid to like hop around, and I love him. I'm a big fan of Vader anyway, so like he's one of my favorite big men. So just see him like wailing on Arn Anderson is fun. And you know, the crowd got into it for what it was, and hey, it wasn't bad. On a show full of some wonky, weird stuff and some kind of bad stuff and bad angles. This and I think the Alex Wright and DDP match were easily the best on the show, and they stood out because there was good workers in there, at least doing some decent work. So I liked it for what it was. At least you capped off the night with a better match.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I almost stopped the YouTube video. Then it flicked to a quick backstage segment with Hulk Hogan just basically declaring war on the Dungeon of Doom and going like, I don't know what Vader's deal is, but I'll take him out too if I have to. It's like he helps you. Why would you want to take him out? He helped.
Yeah, he tried to lay out. If anything, it looked like, based on what happened in that thing, that that Vader would fight the Giant because he attacks the Giant, and then they kind of have a face-off, right? So it seems like okay, maybe Hulk Hogan will be aligned with Vader, but like Vader will fight the Giant. Maybe Hogan will fight, you know, a couple of the minions, whatever. Maybe they'll tag up against, you know, Giant and somebody else. Like I think that's what eventually happens. I think on one of the previews for the other Clash of the Champions, I think. That was like right after the playlist. I think shows like Hogan and Vader against somebody, which makes sense, maybe. So yeah, again, this goes on to like the end of the year, and it's not very good. They dragged it out to like early '96, and then finally killed it. So this Dungeon Doom angle just awful. It made a lot of people pine. This kind of stuff right here, Malcolm. This. And what WWE was doing on the other side with like the goofy characters and like the really cartoony stuff is why people sought out ECW in 1995. Okay, that's exactly why they started seeking out that, or like New Japan or All Japan or Lucha Wrestling at the time, because like this is what you were getting on like mainstream television, at least for a little while.
Yeah. The Dungeon of Doom angle kind of reminds me of the whole Bloodline angle at the moment that people just wish they'd stop it.
Just stop it. Yeah, just enough already. Just get rid of it.
Either that or the Judgment Day. Either one of those.
Yeah, something that just doesn't end. Yeah.
Overall, look, it's one of those ones like, well, yeah, I did enjoy a couple of those matches. Like, I still don't know if I can go higher than a 1 out of 5 for this. Like, I look, just because there's more bad on the like bad and red segments in this, and that it was like the Vader and Arn Anderson match, like Vader Arn Anderson Ric Flair match, and DDP versus Alex Wright were the two that's kind of stopped me from giving it less than a monster. But it's like I don't think I could give it more, but. Piers, what would you sort of give it?
I wouldn't go that cruel, only because again I've seen worse shows overall. I will say this: the positives are at least it's only an hour and a half when you watch the YouTube thing. So like I thought it actually like it went by pretty fast. Like I wasn't like, you know, slogging through this show. There's enough okay workers on the show to where it keeps it moving. The bad matches are kind of short. The crowd is at least still okay enough like into the matches for what it is. You get 2 matches that are pretty good. You get DDP and Alex Wright is good, and then you get the main, which is still entertaining. And at least the bad angles I kind of laughed at. Like the Dungeon Doom stuff is terrible, like especially that one segment, you know, where they're facing off in front of the bad set. But I at least laughed at it. I thought it was funny, like in a cringy, like terrible wrestling kind of way. So I at least got some entertainment, you know, here and there throughout the show for what it was. So I don't know if I can completely like kill it. I think we watched that one where like I was just like I slogged through the show. What was it that one WWE show we watched that was awful. What the last one where I gave it like a 1.5. I thought that was terrible. Was it the 1997 show or something like that? Oh my god, I'm blanking. I'm sorry. I'm blanking on the last one we did. I blocked it out of my head when I watched it.
Was it the Great American Bash 99?
No, because I would remember if we watched like WCW.
Was it one of the Survivor Series? 99
Yeah, the
Six?
Survivor Series that had all those terrible Survivor Series matches on them that just went on forever.
Yeah,
and they were so pointless, and it was like all these random people, and they just went on. Yeah, that show was kind of worse because at least like that one, I was dragging. The matches were not good, and yeah, there was nothing like positive. So at least the show was short, and you know I could easily have this on in the background. It wouldn't like be that the worst. So I'll you know what? All right, I will go as high as 2. I'll go 1.75 out of 5.
No, I was about to say you're going to convince me to bump my score up to 2. Actually,
I've seen worse shows overall. I've even seen worse Clash of Champions like overall than this.
Yeah.
You know, it's whatever.
But yeah, like because I was just looking at my personal ratings, like, and I think it was definitely better than WCW Super Bowl from the same year. Funny enough,
Okay.
it was definitely better than the Great American Bash that redid.
Let's put it like this: if this was an episode of Nitro, it would just be like a whatever episode of Nitro. It would have like some positive, some negative. You know, just kind of a middle of the road show. You know, like it would just be a whatever TV show. You know, something like that.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm going to bring up the reel, see what the next one is. Because there isn't really, I don't think there's anything wrestling happening this weekend. We're back to our big reel.
Oh wow, yeah, nice.
Which is funny because like last weekend there's like 3 different things happening. Then
yeah, we got a lot to talk about on Lonely Marks this week. Yeah. Oh, okay, there you go.
Yeah.
So you can hit up one of the other guys to talk about some some mid WWE Judgment Day. Okay, 2006. Okay, fair enough. All right.
What was that?
Yeah, I'm looking up the card right now. I'm saying this wasn't 2005 was the JBL Eddie Guerrero Bloodbath, or 2004 something like that. 06, man, yeah. You got some Eminem, some Kendrick and London. That should be pretty good. You got Benoit and Finley. That should be pretty good. I might have watched this. You know what, Malcolm? Now I recall, I might have seen this show when it actually aired first in 2006. I think I watched this because I was interested in some things. So you got some good stuff on there. You got Gregory Helms, Super Crazy. T-Bob. Oh no, it got Greg
we've also got the 2006 King of the Ring final in this one too.
Okay, so yeah, Booker T and Bobby Lashley. Okay, I mean, you know, this could be a semi-promising show. So not bad. There's at least some things to look forward to there.
Yeah, but that'll be next week. But Piers, we can be find you online.
Yeah, no, a couple of different places. If you want to hear me talk some more wrestling, you can find me on the Lonely Marks Wrestling Podcast. We have our own YouTube show, and we go live every Thursday around 10 o'clock at night. So we recap, different pay-per-views or shows. We do little rankums. We riff from Malcolm occasionally and talk some things like that. We do some retro reviews, some tier rankers. We've done a few of those lately. All kinds of stuff over there. It's right under my name. And then you can find me talking movies and pop culture over on the Movie Hero Network. So that's where you can find me, and you'll see Malcolm on the Movie Hero Network quite a bit. So that's where you can find me. Thanks.
And you can find me on TV Productions as host Rankum every week. Next week we're going to be doing top 12 David Krumholtz movies, so obviously JPO is going to be on there. And you can also find me on Spear from the Past. It'll probably be next week. I haven't obviously picked some because I've only just spun it, but we'll do Judgment Day 2006. And then you can find me here and there every now and then doing stuff on the Movie Hero Network, and I pop up sometimes in trivia. Not doing that as much now though, but I do that. I do pop up occasionally, but yeah. See you all next time.